Slowly open your eyes. Do you know what is today's topic? Yes. Excretory system. Okay. Today's topic is excretory system. We are meeting after a long time, after almost 1.5 months. Correct? Hope you are enjoying the course and studying well. Let's start with excretory system. What are the routes for excretion? Before going to the routes, what do you mean by excretion? Anyone?
Getting rid of the unwanted things.
Yes.
Removal of the waste material from the body.
Yes. Those substances which are not required for body are removed out of the body. It is excretion. So there are different routes for the excretion. Okay. So the first one is urethra. Through urethra, urine is excreted. Correct? So the urinary system. It comes under urinary system. Other route of excretion is feces. Through rectum, feces are excreted. Correct? GIT waste is excreted as feces through rectum. GIT is gastrointestinal tract. Next one is through nostrils, carbon dioxide, which is excreted during exhalation. Carbon dioxide, which is formed in the body during various processes, is excreted through nostrils. And the last one is through epidermis, that is through sweat. Unwanted substances are excreted through sweat from epidermis. That is a part of the skin. So basically, these are the routes for excretion. Okay. So today we will see in detail the urinary system. Hope you have completed with GIT. Have you? Respiratory system completed? Or maybe completed. Okay. And so today we will cover the urinary system and the skin, the remaining part of the excretory system. So you all know about these kidneys, ureter, urethra. Correct? There are 2 kidneys present in our body. Where are they located? Before location, we will see these are the reddish color bean-shaped kidneys. These are bean-shaped. अपना वो राजमा कैसा रहता है? Bean-shaped. It is the shape of the kidney is like that. There are 2, one on either side, right and left. Okay, and above the kidneys are the suprarenal glands. Suprarenal are endocrine. कुछ याद आ रहा है? Adrenal glands, suprarenal glands, and these kidneys are bean shaped. Outer is convex. The outer shape is convex and inner is concave. Okay, and they are present retroperitoneal, that is outside of the peritoneum on the dorsal side of the body, that is पीछे से. Okay, आगे नहीं आते हैं, पीछे रहते हैं. So if you place your hands पीछे at lumbar region, both hands, आप देखो जरा, दोनों हाथ जो है वो वर्टिब्रल कॉलम के बाजू में पैरेलल टू वर्टिब्रल कॉलम रखेंगे. दैट इज द प्लेस. ओके, यहाँ पे पीछे बाजू रहते हैं दो किडनीज. उनकी सिचुएशन जो रहती है वो अराउंड T12 टू L3 या L5 तक रहती है. ओके, T12 that is thoracic vertebra, 12th thoracic vertebra to L3 that is third lumbar vertebra. So उनकी लेंथ जो है तो अराउंड 10 सेंटीमीटर. यहाँ वहां होता है, इट चेंजेस, मतलब इंडिविजुअल टू इंडिविजुअल साइज एंड वेट थोड़ा थोड़ा चेंज होता है. ओके, सो अराउंड दैट, एंड these two kidneys, see, these kidneys, they have a notch. Okay, here is the notch on the middle side, medial side, rather than middle, I would say medial side. Medial is center जो रहता है, that is called as medial side. So medial side पे यहाँ पे notch रहती है. So through this notch there is a hilum. It is called as hilum, and through this hilum renal artery enters. Okay, renal artery is a branch of abdominal aorta. Abdominal aorta, it's a branch. Renal artery is a branch of abdominal aorta. It enters through hilum. और कौन कौन एंटर होता है? lymphatic vessels, nerves, okay, and renal vein leaves kidneys through hilum. यहाँ से बाहर जाती है. Okay, and then it joins to inferior vena cava. मालूम है inferior vena cava? जो नीचे से जो ब्लड आता है वो टुवर्ड्स हार्ट लेके जाती है, inferior vena cava. So it joins to the inferior vena cava. So renal artery enters, lymphatic vessel enters, nerves enters, and renal vein leaves hilum. Along with that, ureter, this is called as renal pelvis. It is the upper part of the ureter. It leaves the kidney. ठीक? Okay, so दो किडनी है, therefore दो ureter है. One pair of kidneys, one pair of ureters, one bladder, and then one ureter. Okay, so mainly it consists of kidney, ureter, bladder, and ureter. So kidneys, ureters, bladder, and ureter. Okay, it is bean-shaped, dark red structure located at dorsal side of abdominal cavity. It is retroperitoneal. It is on the either side of the vertebral column between T12 to L3. Correct? This is, I'm just reading it as a revision. Okay, so that I will not miss any point to explain. Right kidney, yes, right kidney is slightly lower than left. Why? Because liver is located on the right side. So that is why right kidney is slightly lower than left kidney. Size is 10 centimeter long, 5 centimeter wide, and 4 centimeter thick. Weighs around 150 grams in males and 135 grams in females. Outer margin is convex, inner margin is concave. Okay. Then renal artery, lymphatic vessel, nerves, renal pelvis enters kidneys through hilum, renal veins leaves the kidney. Adrenal glands are located. I have covered all points. Correct. Now, blood supply is by renal artery, which is a branch of abdominal aorta. After entering to the kidneys, it divides into capillaries. It divides into smaller branches, small branches, and ultimately into capillaries. And these carries blood to the nephron, that is, to be specific, to the glomerulus. We will see what is glomerulus, what are the nephrons. And renal vein, which collects the blood from the kidneys and then it joins to the inferior vena cava. What are the functions of the kidney? It is not only the excretion of the urine is the only function of the kidney, but there are several functions other than excretion. What are they? First one is excretion of the poisonous nitrogenous waste products like urea, uric acid, ammonia. Okay. Then excessive vitamins, drugs, pigment, poisons. हम लोग जो खाते हैं ना, poison नहीं खाते हैं, but we don't know what we eat, like preservatives, artificial colors. Okay, all those are non-required things for the body. They are excreted or they are removed from the circulation. Okay, so main thing is excretion. Then it also maintains the volume of the blood by reabsorption of water. Okay, thus the circulation of the volume of the blood is maintained. So sometimes you see the urine is concentrated, sometimes it is diluted. How you know the urine is concentrated? The color of the urine is yellow. Okay, then the urine is concentrated. And if the color is pale yellow or white, then it is diluted. That means you have the water intake is enough. If the water intake is less or it is too hot, so that the water is also evaporated through your skin also, through sweat. So that time you have observed that your urine is yellow. Correct, na? Abhi to summer shuru ho raha hai. So you can observe these things. And another important thing is it maintains the acid-base balance. That is the pH of the body. Okay. So absorption of certain ions and secretion of the certain ions, through which the acid-base balance is maintained. It also helps in regulation of the blood pressure through renin-angiotensin mechanism. I will not go into detail of this. Then it also it also secretes erythropoietin for production of RBCs and for the formation of the active form of the vitamin D. So besides excretion, there are other functions of kidneys. Okay, should I go ahead? सब लोग साथ में हो ना? Okay. तो यूरेटर किडनीज के बाद क्या आता है? यूरेटर्स. So they arise from hilum of the kidney. किडनी के बाद क्या होता है? दो यूरेटर आते हैं. Okay, these ureters are the funnel shaped expanded renal pelvis which runs downwards and enters the bladder. So main function क्या रहता है इनका, जो भी यूरिन फॉर्म हुई है, यूरिन which is formed by kidneys, it carries from kidneys to bladder. तो सिर्फ जैसा अपना ब्लड, ये अपना पाइप कैसा रहता है, वाटर पाइप, इट कैरीज ब्लड, इट कैरीज वाटर, ओके. वैसे ही ये जो यूरेटर है, these are the pipes, these are the muscular pipes, they are thin walled. So urine is carried from kidneys to bladder. So they open, where they open, these ureters open on the dorsal side of the bladder, on the posterior wall of the bladder through a wide angle. Function is carrying it. Okay, urinary bladder. ये देख रहे हैं? Can you see this image? See, these are the ureter. This is ureter. It is opening here in the bladder, where this is the posterior wall. और जो lower portion of this posterior wall है, there is a triangular shape. This is triangle. This is called as a triangle. इतना याद रखेंगे तो, नहीं रखेंगे तो भी चलेगा, सिर्फ याद रखना है, it opens into the posterior wall of the bladder. ये नीचे वाले यहाँ पे ओपनिंग होता है. So this urinary bladder is a muscular structure. It's a bag. So it's, since this is a muscular structure, it can contract and it can relax. Correct? So जो भी यूरिन आता है, it just get accumulated in this bag, this urinary bladder. So the function of the urinary bladder is accumulation or storage, temporary storage of urine. जब तक वो certain amount तक नहीं हो जाता है, तब तक it gets stored into the urine, into the bladder. So this bladder is where it is located, where it is present. It is present in front, in front of rectum in males, and females में क्या रहता है, uterus भी रहता है. So in front of uterus in females. It's a single, hollow, pear-shaped and muscular bag, distensible. जैसे भी relax होता है, distend हो जाता है, contract हो जाने पर छोटा हो जाता है. This happens during micturition, that is urination. Urination में क्या होता है, bladder के जो muscles रहते हैं वो contract होते हैं. Because of contraction, urine जो है वो urethra से बाहर जाता है. Okay. See, in the lower part of the posterior wall, there is an inverted triangular area. This is inverted triangle. Inverted यानी उल्टा है. So base is ऊपर है and apex जो point आता है triangle का, that is नीचे है. That is inverted triangle. It opens into the inverted triangular area, okay, and into the upper lateral angle of this area. यहाँ पे ये open है. Lower end of the bladder opens into urethra. So ureter जो है वो bladder में open होता है और bladder जो है वो urethra में होता है. Correct? Function is temporary storage of the urine. जब भी urine, when it is between 300, it can store between 300 to 500 or 400. तब तक you will not get the urge to micturate or to pass the urine. When it crosses that amount, when it crosses 500 ml, then you will get the urge to micturate. और अभी हाँ urine pass करना है. Okay, so it also helps in micturition. We'll see how is the process of micturition during the course. Okay, आगे देखें. Okay, so micturition means the urination. Right? It is the process of voiding. That is एक जो पास करना है, that is voiding of the urine by contraction of the bladder wall and relaxation of the urethral sphincter. So there is one sphincter which is present at the base of this bladder, that is between upper part of the urethra and bladder. It is called as internal urethral sphincter. So this sphincter is under control of parasympathetic nerve. So it is not under control of our will. So it is involuntary. Now you know parasympathetic and sympathetic. Correct? Sympathetic nerves are not under control of will. And sympathetic nerves are under control of our will. जैसे कि sympathetic nerves कहाँ होते हैं, अपने skeletal muscles और ये सब. You can move your hand. मुझे हाथ ऊपर करना है तो I can lift it up. That is under my will. So यहाँ पे this sphincter is under control of parasympathetic nerve. So हमारा उस पर control नहीं है. But there is another sphincter which is present at the lower end of the urethra. It is called as the external urethral sphincter. It is under control of will. So it is supplied by sympathetic nerves. This urethra extends from lower end of the bladder. In males, it is up to the tip of the penis. And in females, there are 3 openings. Correct? First one is urethral opening. Second is vaginal opening. And third is anal opening. Anus का जो रहता है. So urethral opening separate रहता है females. The length of the urethra in females is short. It is shorter than males. That is why females are more prone to urinary tract infection. यूरेथ्रा का जो लेंथ है वो शॉर्ट रहने के कारण रिकरेंट यूरिनरी इन्फेक्शन होता है. इसीलिए हम लोग बोलते हैं ना कि पब्लिक वॉशरूम यूज करना है तो बी केयरफुल, और यू कैन अवॉइड यूजिंग पब्लिक वॉशरूम्स. और जहां भी हाइजीन है वहीं पे जाना है. करेक्ट? Because you get urinary you can infected with this urinary, you get easily infected with urinary tract infection. Okay. Female urethra is short. Flow of urine is guarded by sphincters. Correct. Internal sphincter at the neck of the bladder. It is in under parasympathetic nerves, involuntary. And external urethral sphincter situated at the lower end, and it is voluntary. And generally, this control is gained after the age of 2. In females, it carries only urine. But in males, it also carries semen. Okay. मेल्स में प्रोस्टेट रहता है, प्रोस्टेट ग्लैंड रहता है, और ये जो डक्ट रहती है दैट opens into urethra and then urethra opens outside. Next, how urine is expelled. क्या होता है जब भी यूरिन इज फॉर्म्ड? यूरिन इज फॉर्म कहाँ पे, कहाँ फॉर्म होती है? किडनीज. करेक्ट? यूरिन इज कैरीड फ्रॉम किडनीज टू यूरिनरी ब्लैडर. इट इज स्टोर्ड टिल वॉलंटरी सिग्नल इज इनिशिएटेड. जैसे वो स्टोर हो जाती है थोड़े टाइम के बाद, थोड़ा वॉल्यूम कलेक्ट होने के बाद, यू विल गेट द अर्ज, बट इट इज रिफ्लेक्स एक्शन रहता है, क्योंकि ये जो है दैट इज थ्रू, इट इज द सिग्नल इज थ्रू द लोअर पार्ट ऑफ द स्पाइनल कॉर्ड। तो उसके बाद जो देयर आर स्ट्रेच रिसेप्टर्स, these receptors are present in the bladder wall. When urine starts accumulating, then these receptors are stimulated and they send the impulse to the higher brain, that is CNS, higher brain, from to the micturition center. Okay, from micturition center, the signal passes down. These are the motor signals. And through those signals, this bladder gets contracted. ये जो muscles है bladder के, उनका contraction हो जाता है। तो इनका जैसे contraction होता है, at the same time simultaneously internal urethral sphincter, okay, which is present between bladder and upper part of the urethra, it is relaxed. Also, the external sphincter is relaxed and urine dribbles बाहर जाता, correct? समझा? Or should I explain it once again? हाँ या ना? Yes or no? Okay, I will explain it once again. Okay, urine जो है, that is formed in the kidney, through ureter it is stored in the bladder. थोड़ा amount बढ़ने के बाद, when the volume of the urine is more, that time these receptors, these are the stretching, it causes the stretching of the urinary bladder, and these stretch receptors send signals to CNS, central nervous system. Okay, and this central nervous system passes motor message to initiate the contraction of the urinary bladder. At the same time, urethral sphincters are also relaxed. और यूरिन जो है वो बाहर जाता है. This is called as micturition. Yes, Vaishnavi?
So in kids, we have observed, especially in girls more than boys, कि बहुत time तक if they haven't went to pass the urine, even though they get the urge to go to urination, somehow the sphincter doesn't opens up, the external sphincter. So urine pass nahi hota hai. What's the reason behind it?
Actually, it is under control of CNS. So it takes a fraction of seconds ki thoda time, relaxation, क्योंकि it is under parasympathetic and sympathetic control also. So when you are in the washroom, तभी क्या होता है, जो आजू बाजू का एनवायरमेंट है कि हाँ, now you are relaxed, you are in the close place, now you can void the urine. तो वो जो टाइम तो थोड़ा जाएगा ना, because it is under control of both voluntary also and involuntary. इसीलिए थोड़ा ये कभी होता है, it is mainly when कि जब भी you are holding it for a longer time. Generally, it happens during that, after that. And actually, you should not hold it longer. कभी कभी हुआ तो that is okay, but you should not make it a habit कि holding of urine for a longer time. This is called as micturition. Okay. When bladder gets filled with 300 to 400 ml of urine, you will get the urge to micturate. But bladder cannot store urine above 800 ml. कभी कभी क्या होता है, जल्दी होती है, मालूम है ना, और sometimes वो ड्रिबल हो जाता है. और कैसे होता है ना, व्हाइल कॉफिंग, ये जो स्पिंक्टर का जो कंट्रोल है ना वो कम हो जाएगा, या बिकॉज ऑफ द लूजनिंग ऑफ द मसल, ये भी मसल्स है, जो एब्डोमिनल जो नीचे वाले जो है वो सपोर्टिंग है, मसल्स जो है वो लूज हो जाते हैं एज एज प्रोग्रेसेस आफ्टर डिलीवरी. सो इन फीमेल्स देयर ये ज्यादा दिखता है कि व्हाइल कफिंग you pass urine involuntarily as age progresses. Okay. Now we will see kidney in detail. Any question till now? Okay. Easy है वैसे तो, ये easy है. This topic is very easy and interesting also. So kidney, internal structure of the kidney. Yes, Sangeeta?
जैसे किसी को ना यूरिनेशन जैसे पास होने के बाद में भी ना बार बार बहुत ज्यादा यूरिन फॉर्म होता होगा और पास करने की इच्छा होती है, जैसे करके आए उसके बाद में भी लग रहा है कि थोड़ी देर में ही इमीडिएटली उनको वापस, तो जैसे डायबिटीज वालों को तो बोलते हैं उनको बहुत ये होता है यूरिन का प्रॉब्लम, बट अगर ऐसा नॉर्मल में किसी को डायबिटीज नहीं है या फिर अगर नॉर्मल है व्यक्ति तो उसको थोड़ी थोड़ी देर में यूरिन का ऐसा होता है कि जाना है और पास भी होता है उनको यूरिन, यानी ज्यादा यूरिन उनको फॉर्म हो रहा है, तो इसका रीजन क्या, मतलब कुछ किडनी से रिलेटेड कुछ प्रॉब्लम है?
यूरिन ज्यादा फॉर्म हो रहा है, देयर आर टू डिफरेंट थिंग्स. यूरिन ज्यादा फॉर्म कभी होगा, ज्यादा पानी पिया है, एंड लाइक डायबिटीज मलाइटिस में क्या होता है, ज्यादा यूरिन मतलब यू गेट अर्ज की ज्यादा जाना पड़ता है और ज्यादा आती है.
बट हाँ, अभी जितना पानी पी, सॉरी,
यस
जितना पानी पिया नहीं है उससे भी ज्यादा, मतलब ऐसा लगता है कि बार बार
वो कंडीशन, मतलब इन्फेक्शन जब भी रहता है ना उस टाइम पे ऐसा होता है कि थोड़ा थोड़ा यूरिन होता है और थोड़े थोड़े टाइम पे बाद थोड़ा जाना, अरे अभी जाके आए फिर भी यू फील कि हाँ अभी यूरिन पास कर रहे हैं.
मतलब
इस तरह
किडनी में कुछ ऐसा खराबी या किडनी का भी कोई प्रॉब्लम वैसा नहीं होता है ना, ये इन्फेक्शन नॉर्मल वैसा हुआ?
ज्यादा कभी कभी क्या होता है ना, ब्लैडर का जो वॉल्यूम होता है ना, ब्लैडर की साइज छोटी होती है, दैट इज फैमिलियर, दैट इज कंजेनाइटल. कभी भी ऐसा होता है कि ब्लैडर कैन नॉट स्टोर दिस मच अमाउंट ऑफ द यूरिन, सो थोड़े टाइम के बाद यू फील कि अभी यूरिन जाना है, मतलब यूरिन पास करना है. करेक्ट ना? तो डिफरेंट, ऐसे एक पे देख के ही यू कैन नॉट से कि कुछ इन्फेक्शन है या कुछ प्रॉब्लम है. देयर आर मल्टीपल फैक्टर्स. Okay, so this is bean shaped kidney. Okay, so it is covered with a renal. One second. One second. एक minute. So this is bean shaped kidney. It is covered with the fibrous capsule. This is called as renal capsule. It is divided into this part. Can you see this part? This is called as renal cortex. And this part is renal medulla. This. Huh? Can you see? Follow my cursor. This is renal cortex, renal medulla, and this is renal pelvis. Okay, this renal pelvis continues as ureter. जो भी यूरिन फॉर्म होती है वो यहाँ से आके यूरेटर में जाती है. करेक्ट? So this is renal capsule, then this is renal cortex, this is longitudinal section, that is lengthwise section लिया किडनी का, तो ऐसे दिखेगी किडनी. So this is cortex, this is medulla, and this is sinus. So here in this cortex there are nephrons are present. Nephron is the anatomical and physiological unit of the kidney. That is, it is structural and functional unit of the kidney. Okay. and they are present in the renal cortex. They are present here. These are renal. What are they? These are called renal calyx. They are triangular shape, conical shape with broad base towards outside, towards this side, and conical, that is, this is tip जो वाला ये है, it is towards inside. This is called as renal papilla. Some part of the renal cortex, this part which enters into the medulla, in between these pyramids, see this red part enters in between. It is called as renal columns. Okay, ये जो part है cortex का, renal cortex का, it enters in between these pyramids. It is called as renal columns. And these renal pyramids, okay, this is renal papilla. So this renal papilla, they मतलब 2-3 renal pyramid का renal papilla एक साथ आ जाता है and they form minor calyx. Okay, this is minor calyx. Okay, ये papilla है, this is minor calyx. And वो एक साथ आ जाता है, it combines to form major calyx. Then this major calyx combines, 2-3 major calyces combine to form renal pelvis. Renal sinus is the space, so renal pelvis यहाँ पे बन जाता है. समझ रहा है? One second.
Can you explain renal sinus?
Yes.
What is the renal sinus?
Renal sinus. Okay. This part is renal sinus.
The
See,
space.
this renal papilla, this is pyramid. Renal pyramid. This is renal papilla. This is end part of the renal pyramid. It forms a renal calyx. So ये जो 2-3 आ जाता है renal calyx, it forms a renal minor calyx. Okay, minor calyx combines. ये 2-3 combine आता है, this becomes major calyx. Okay, और ये 2-3 combines to form this part is renal pelvis.
Yes. Then where is the sinus?
So renal sinus, it is the space where the renal pelvis is situated.
Okay, understood.
So longitudinal LS of the kidney shows inner pale medulla. Okay, this is comparatively pale. Then outer reddish brown cortex. Why this is reddish brown? Because it is rich in blood supply. That is why the color of the kidney is red, reddish brown. So medulla, inner pale striated part. It is made up of the striated conical masses called renal pyramid, and each pyramid has base directed outwards and apex inwards called as a renal pyramid. Correct? समझ रहा है ना? Then cortex, renal cortex. Outer part of the cortical tissue invades the medulla and lie between adjacent pyramid is called renal columns. See, This is cortex. These are pyramids. In between part of the cortex is called as a renal columns. ठीक. Renal sinus, it is a hilum. पहले क्या किया हम लोगों ने? It is a bean shape. Shape of the kidney is bean shape. यहाँ पे notch रहता है. So through this notch, hilum रहता है. Hilum is what? Hilum leads to a space called renal sinus. अभी देखा renal sinus. Occupied by the upper expanded part of the ureter called as renal pelvis. Renal pelvis divides into, ये अभी नीचे से ऊपर जा रहा है. हम लोगों ने अभी कैसे देखा? यहाँ से नीचे आए, मतलब किडनी कॉर्टेक्स देखा, उसके बाद मेड्यूला देखा, माइनर कैलिक्स, मेजर कैलिक्स, यूरेटर, रीनल पेल्विस एंड यूरेटर. अभी ये जो है वो हम लोग ऐसे जा रहे हैं, उल्टे जा रहे हैं. हाँ, यूरेटर के बाद ये जो रहता है वो क्या रहता है? हाइलम के यहाँ क्या रहता है? पेल्विस, रीनल साइनस रहेगा. रीनल पेल्विस into major calyces, major calyx into minor calyces to renal papilla, and then correct. कंफ्यूजन नहीं है? मैंने जो एक्सप्लेन किया पहले वो ऐसे था, यहाँ पे जो लिखा है वो उल्टा लिखा है. ओके, इट इज वन एंड द सेम. Renal pelvis divides into 2 or 3 parts. Major calyces, then major calyces divides into minor, and renal papilla it opens into minor calyces. Nephrons, we will have 2 minutes break. Okay, sorry for that, but we will have 2 minutes break. Hello. Yes. We will continue. Sorry for the break. So nephrons, what are the nephrons? These are the structural and the functional unit of the kidneys. They are called nephrons. See, can you see this? ये मटके जैसा है, दिख रहा है ना? हाँ, and it is continuous. This is tubule. This is continuous, forming this, and this is collecting duct. So this is up to this. This is nephron. Okay, there are 2 types of nephron. This is cortical nephron and this is juxtamedullary nephron. This cortical nephron in cortex, what we have seen, which is the outermost part of the kidneys. See, up to this is cortex and below this is medulla. So in the cortex, these nephrons are situated. These nephrons, see, these nephrons continues as a tubule. This is called as Bowman's capsule. It continues as tubule. This is called as proximal convoluted tubule. Okay, proximal क्योंकि वो नजदीक है, we say ना proximity, and so it is called as convoluted क्यों? क्योंकि वो सीधा नहीं है, टेढ़ी मेढ़ी है ना. तो proximal convoluted tubule and then continues down as loop of Henle. This is descending, नीचे जा रहा है, that is why descending limb of loop of Henle. This is then comes up, so ascending. See, here also proximal convoluted tubule, descending loop of Henle, then comes the ascending loop of Henle, then distal convoluted tubule. Distal क्यों? क्योंकि वो दूर है ना, नेफ्रॉन से दूर है. So distal convoluted, again वो टेढ़ी मेढ़ी है, इसलिए distal convoluted tubule. Okay, then it opens into duct. This is collecting duct. Okay, where the urine is collected. So ये जो collecting duct है, so ये वो ज्यादा मतलब 2, 3, 4 ऐसे कंबाइन हो जाते हैं, then they form the आगे का जो अपना यूरेटर और ये देखा ना हम लोगों ने, it opens into. So basic unit of the kidney is nephron. So the glomerulus, proximal convoluted tubule, they are present in the cortex. So descending loop of Henle, ascending loop of Henle, and some part of the proximal part, proximal convoluted tubule, which they are present in the adrenal, they are present in the renal medulla. And again, this proximal convoluted tubule and collecting tubule, they are present in the cortex. This collecting tubule passes through medulla and then opens into the renal pelvis and then continues its ureter.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yes.
So, when you say that loop of Henle and some part of distal convoluted tubule are in medulla, that means
Sorry, come again, please.
so loop of Henle and ascend some part of distal convoluted tubule, are they in the part of pyramid, the front part of pyramid, and the Bowman's capsule is in the cortex, the upper part, where the base of the pyramid starts?
See, here is the cortex and here are the pyramids.
Yes.
So they are present in the pyramid.
Pyramids. Yes, that is what.
That is why the color is pale, because here there are lots of arterioles and all that. And here are the tubules along with the circulation also.
Yes.
But that is why the color is pale.
Okay.
Because of the ducts, these loop of Henle are present in the medulla, and that is why the color is pale. Comparatively, huh?
Okay.
It is in comparison with the cortex. Okay. So nephrons, they are the structural and the functional unit. Each kidney consists of microscopic coiled tubular structure called as nephrons. Okay. Around 1.5 million nephrons are present in each kidney. Now the parts of the nephrons. Okay, within cortex, Malpighian capsule. This Malpighian capsule is, these are the arterioles, afferent and efferent. Along with this blood supply and Bowman's capsule, it is called as Malpighian capsule. Okay, then proximal and distal convoluted tubule. You can see it clearly in this picture. Okay, they are present in the cortex. In medulla, Henle's lobe and collecting tubules. Okay, collecting tubules को तो नीचे आना ही है ना. Through papilla, they have to enter minor calyx, major calyx, and then renal pelvis. ऐसे तो urine को route लेना ही है. So these collecting tubules is in the medulla. Now we'll see in detail this part. This part. Okay. So Malpighian body and the renal tubule. This Malpighian body is consist of glomerulus. ये हंडा जैसा रहता है ना, क्या बोलते हैं, वैसे शेप का है. ओके, करेक्ट. This is two layer. This is partial parietal layer and this is visceral layer. This is Bowman's capsule. Two layers, parietal and visceral. This is arteriole. Arteriole क्या रहता है? जैसे ही renal artery it enters into kidney, it starts dividing and it forms smaller and smaller and smaller branches, arterioles. Okay, so this arteriole enters into this Bowman's capsule. This is called as afferent arteriole. Correct? Entry होने वाला afferent, बाहर जाता है वो efferent. आपने देखा होगा ना स्पाइनल कॉर्ड में afferent nerve, efferent nerve. So this is afferent, जो enter होता है वो, that is afferent arteriole. Then it again divides and form glomerulus. Network जैसा बन जाता है, that is called glomerulus. And again वो क्या होता है, then again it starts reuniting to form efferent arteriole. मतलब जैसे अंदर जाता है तो it starts dividing, then it forms glomerulus, again reunite करते जाता है and then efferent. Have you observed anything? See, the diameter of this and diameter of this, they are different. Why? Because this diameter is different, it forms pressure gradient. Okay, and because of the pressure gradient, there is filtrate. यहाँ से जो है, जैसे blood pass होता है, blood contains plasma, so through this, as ये जैसे आगे आगे जाता है, because of the pressure gradient, ये plasma से some part of that it enters into the Bowman's capsule. This is called as filtrate. Okay, and ये जो filtrate रहता है, suppose it is entering through arteriole, afferent arteriole, about 20% of that is the filtrate, glomerular filtrate. Okay, मतलब जहां यहाँ पे 100% है, तो उसमें से 20% जो है वो ग्लोमेरुलर फिल्ट्रेट बन जाता है, यहाँ से नीचे जाता है, आता है, नेफ्रॉन में आ जाता है. लेकिन ये कौन सा पार्ट नेफ्रॉन में आता है? सबका सब तो नहीं प्लाज्मा जाता है, बिकॉज ब्लड कंटेन्स मेनी थिंग्स लाइक ब्लड कॉर्पसेस, प्रोटीन्स, फैट्स, मेनी अदर थिंग्स ऑल्सो. But this membrane is semi-permeable. Semi-permeable is what? It permits only certain things. ऐसे नहीं कि जो भी जाता है सब कुछ पास हो जाता है. That is why it is semi-permeable membrane. So only things which are low molecular weight, they pass through this semi-permeable membrane. Okay, water can pass through this and low molecular weight can pass through it. Okay, now we'll see the structure of this part. So this is arteriole, this is glomerulus, that is जो अपना ब्लड वेसल का जो एंडोथेलियम है जो रहता है ना, एंडोथेलियम, ब्लड वेसल क्या रहता है, उसमें सेल्स रहेगा, एपिथेलियल सेल्स रहेगा. These are the endothelial cells. So endothelial cells, they are not continuous. Here, these endothelial cells has in between जो रहता है उसमें थोड़ा थोड़ा gaps रहता है. There are gaps in between endothelial cells. Then comes the basement membrane. This is basement membrane, and these are some special cells. They are called podocytes. Okay, these podocytes has foot-like structures. They are called pedicles, and these pedicles have again gaps in between. Okay, so there are gaps in between endothelial cells. Then comes the basement membrane, and again there are gaps in between this pedicle of the podocytes. So the water and low molecular weight substances passes through this. This passes through glomerulus, and then they form the glomerular filtrate. Okay. This Bowman's capsule. So Bowman's capsule along with glomerulus is called as Malpighian body. And this glomerulus, this Bowman's capsule, this is called as neck of the Bowman's capsule. It continues as a tubule. So this neck continues as proximal convoluted tubule. Okay. Now you see glomerular filtration tree. This is glomerulus. Afferent arteriole. This is efferent. Diameter is different. This has larger diameter. This has smaller diameter. Because of that, pressure gradient, pressure is created, and glomerular filtrate is formed. यहाँ से वो हो जाता है. Are you reading this? Renal artery enters through hilum, divides and redivides. An afferent renal arteriole enters the cup and divides to form glomerulus. Capillaries reunite to form efferent renal arteriole. It leaves the glomerulus. Correct? Then diameter of efferent arteriole is lesser than afferent. So the blood flows under high pressure through glomerulus and thus facilitates ultrafiltration. So अभी हम लोगों ने क्या देखा, यहाँ से एंटर होता है, ग्लोमेरुलस फॉर्म होता है, और ये जो है वो this is afferent, this is efferent. यहाँ से बाहर आता है. So we will continue with tubule now. So ये जो ग्लोमेरुलस है, ये जो अपना Bowman's capsule है, it will continue as tubule. This is proximal convoluted tubule. Leads to narrow straight tubule called neck, which connects to renal tubule. Then comes descending loop of Henle, ascending loop of Henle, proximal distal convoluted tubule, and then collecting stuff. ये हम लोग ने देख लिया है. Okay, it lies in cortex. They have microvilli to increase the surface area, and it helps in reabsorption. Okay, the loop of Henle, it descends into medulla. It is thin walled. It takes U-turn, ascends back upward into cortex, and it is thick walled. Ascending limb is not permeable to water, and therefore it is meant for concentration of urine. Then comes distal convoluted tubule. Ascending loop of Henle enters the cortex to form distal convoluted tubule. Distal convoluted tubule leads to the straight, large collecting tubule. There are many nephrons. Because we have seen around 1.5 million nephrons are present in each kidney. So, ये जो nephrons है, so many nephrons open into same collecting tubule. Then this collecting tubules join to collecting duct, and this collecting duct descends into medullary pyramid. समझा? Okay. So 7 to 8 collecting ducts again join to form the ducts of Bellini, and they open into minor calyx, and minor calyx to major calyx into renal calyx. So function of the renal tubule is reabsorption and secretion. See, these two words are very important here. What do you mean by reabsorption? Okay. Reabsorption means absorption of the substances or salts or water from tubule into circulation, that is into capillary. And secretion means from capillary to tubule. Okay? I will repeat once again because these two words are very important. Reabsorption means नेफ्रॉन से, मतलब नेफ्रॉन का जो ट्यूब्यूल रहता है, from that tubule to capillaries and again into circulation. So water जो रहता है, that water is reabsorbed. That means जो भी glomerular filtrate में आया है, that 20% जो जितना enter हुआ उससे 20% glomerular filtrate form हुआ, and from that water is reabsorbed again into circulation. And those substances which are not required, like ammonia, urea, uric acid, they are secreted into the tubule. समझा? Correct? आगे जाओ. Any questions? ठीक? So there is selective reabsorption. Why selective? It is not that all is reabsorbed. समझो, everything is reabsorbed, then urine will not form. So it is selective reabsorption of essential substances like water, glucose, salt, sodium, potassium, then chloride, carbonate, calcium, magnesium. So it is absorbed, reabsorbed. And secretion of unwanted substances like ammonia, then hydrogen ion. So blood supply. Are you following now? Efferent arteriole. Look at the diagram. Afferent arteriole, it enters into the glomerulus and it leaves as an efferent arteriole. As it leaves the Bowman's capsule, it starts dividing. It forms the peritubular. ये जो tubules है उसके आजू बाजू वो divide हो जाती है, मतलब वो पूरा ऐसा mesh जैसा form हो जाता है. So they are called as peritubular capillaries. It divides around these tubules. They are called peritubular capillaries. this efferent arteriole, which continues down along with the loop of Henle, it is called as vasa recta. Vasa recta. So it again starts dividing. So इसीलिए क्या होता है, ये ट्यूब्यूल के बाजू में क्या रहता है, ये आर्टरी मतलब अपना कैपिलरी रहता है, and that is why absorption and secretion is possible. Okay, so ये जो vasa recta है, this vasa recta divides again, and then again it starts joining, reuniting to form this venule, and this venule then again reunite to form branch of renal vein, and then renal vein, leaves the through hilum, it leaves the kidney and then unites with inferior vena cava. Okay,
Ma'am, can you please explain this vasa recta again?
vasa recta, this see this efferent part, efferent arteriole, which it continues down. It descends down along with the loop of Henle. This is tubule and this is loop of Henle. This is descending and this is ascending. So ये जो है ना, this is vasa recta. In some pictures you may see this is in between this in between this loop of Henle, and it gives branches. एक यहाँ पे ऐसे करके, like leaf का जैसे रहता है ना circulation के लिए दो. It is like that, ऐसे भी दिखाया है कई diagrams में. So it gives branches and again it unites to form venule. Vein बन जाता है. Efferent renal arteriole which leaves a Bowman's capsule divides to form peritubular capillary. Okay, these are peritubular capillaries. Then capillaries around the loop of Henle are called vasa recta. Capillaries reunite to form renal venule, which joins to form renal vein. अभी उल्टा चालू हुआ, मतलब पहले जैसे एंटर होता है तो डिवाइड हो जाता है, जैसे बाहर आने के टाइम वो रीयूनाइट होके बाहर. Renal vein passes out of the kidney to join inferior vena cava. How urine is formed? Through absorption, secretion and ये जो हम लोगों ने देखा ना glomerular filtration, it is called as ultrafiltration. So urea, which is the main nitrogenous end product which is formed in the body, is excreted along with water. It is called as urine. The formation of urine is in the 3 stages: ultrafiltration, selective reabsorption and tubular secretion. Okay. जो मैंने explain किया ना पहले, it is given here. This is Bowman's capsule. ये जो है वो glomerulus. This is afferent arteriole. ये glomerulus बन गया. See, here comes the endothelium. ये जो arteriole है, ये glomerulus है, ये इसका ये जो endothelium है. Then comes the basement membrane, and these are the podocytes. Okay, this is podocyte. It has, these are the structures, they are called pedicle. See, in this picture, these are endothelial cells. There is gap, there are gaps in between. This is basement membrane, and these are the pedicles of the podocyte. So here, from here, to here. So plasma, part of the plasma which has water, then low molecular substances like glucose, they pass through these gaps and form filtrate. Okay. Rate, ultrafiltration rate is 125 ml per minute. That is 180 liters per day. तो अपना जो किडनी है वो कितना फिल्टर करती है? 180 liters per day. So rate of formation of filtrate is called glomerular filtration rate, that is GFR. कितना फिल्ट्रेट बन जाता है? वो जो रेट है इसको कहते हैं GFR. Visceral layer of Bowman's capsule are called podocytes. These are the special cells. They are called podocytes. Podocytes rest on the feet-like processes called as pedicles. Individual legs have foot processes. Okay, ये जो है वो. Then gaps between the foot processes are in intimate contact with pores of endothelium of blood capillaries of glomerulus through a semi-permeable membrane. These pores are more permeable to water and low molecular weight substances, which facilitates transfer of fluids. Okay, this I have explained you earlier. Correct? This is only the revision. Because of high blood pressure, about 1/5 of plasma gets filtered into urinary space of the space of Bowman's capsule. Okay, glomerular filtrate has water, glucose, amino acid, salt, and urea. It is also called as deproteinized plasma because it contains all the constituents of blood except blood cells, plasma proteins, and fats. They are larger. They are larger molecular substances, so they cannot pass through this semi-permeable membrane. That is why urine color is not red. क्योंकि blood cells वहां पे आते ही नहीं है, फिल्टर ही नहीं होते हैं. Now we will see the selective reabsorption. जैसे ये filtrate नीचे जाता है, then there is selective reabsorption through proximal convoluted tubule, then loop of Henle, and distal convoluted tubule. Along with reabsorption, there is also secretion. Reabsorption यानी ट्यूब्यूल से सर्कुलेशन में जाते हैं, और secretion यानी वो आर्टरी सर्कुलेशन से यानी आर्टेरियोल से वो वापस ट्यूब्यूल में आते हैं. Okay, so final product is hypertonic filtrate, जो अपना यूरिन रहेगा. See, this diagram will show reabsorption and secretion. यहाँ से filtrate बन गया, this glomerular filtrate, it passes through proximal convoluted tubule. While passing through, reabsorption of mainly water, okay, water, sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, and carbonate ion. Okay, also glucose, amino acid, urea, some part of urea, and uric acid, they are also reabsorbed. At the same time, while it is passing through PCT, proximal convoluted tubule, certain substances or certain ions like hydrogen ion and ammonia, urea, uric acid, they are, and certain drugs, they are secreted into the tubule, proximal convoluted tubule. Okay, so mainly here the reabsorption of sodium, potassium, chloride, water तो है ही, and carbonate. Okay, and secretion of H plus, that is hydrogen ion and ammonia. As it passes down through the loop of Henle, that is descending loop of Henle, it is water permeable. Water is reabsorbed, but solutes cannot pass as it is impermeable. So only water is absorbed through descending loop of Henle. As it moves upward, ascending through the ascending loop of Henle, ascending loop of Henle is water impermeable. मतलब यहाँ से वाटर एब्सॉर्ब हो जाता है, लेकिन यहाँ से एब्सॉर्ब होता नहीं है. जितना भी क्वांटिटी ऑफ वाटर है फिल्ट्रेट में, उतना ही कंटिन्यू होगा टिल द असेंडिंग लूप ऑफ हेनले. बट कैल्शियम सोडियम, potassium and chlorine ions, they are reabsorbed here. So it is solute permeable. यहाँ से सिर्फ वाटर जाता है और यहाँ से सिर्फ सोल्यूट आता है. As it passes further through the distal convoluted tubule, reabsorption of water, sodium, chloride and carbonate, HCO3 minus. यहाँ पे पोटेशियम एब्सॉर्ब नहीं होता है, रादर पोटेशियम सिक्रीट होता है. मतलब जो ज्यादा पोटेशियम सर्कुलेशन में है वो यूरिन में आ जाता है. This distal convoluted tubule is under control of ADH, antidiuretic hormone. Okay, and through this collecting tubule, water is also reabsorbed. These are collecting tubules. So जो भी है, थोड़ा जो है वो reabsorb होता है और कुछ जो है वो secrete होता है. And thus urine is formed. Substances secreted are ammonia, creatinine, potassium and hydrogen. Correct ना? जो मैंने बोला अभी, potassium, hydrogen, they are secreted in the distal convoluted tubule. And final product is अल्ट्रा फिल्ट्रेशन के बाद फाइनल प्रोडक्ट जो है, सॉरी अल्ट्रा फिल्ट्रेशन तो ऊपर आता है, यहाँ पे जो आता है वो यूरिन फॉर्म होता है. कॉन्सेंट्रेटेड यूरिन कंटेनिंग 50% ऑफ यूरिया फाउंड इन ग्लोमेरुलर फिल्टर. नाउ you have you seen urine report any time? देखा है ना, क्या क्या रहता है उसमें? क्वांटिटी रहता है, कलर ऑफ द यूरिन, देन पीएच रहता है, एसिडिक है, अल्कलाइन है. उसके बाद ये सब फिजिकल हो जाता है. उसके बाद क्या क्या होता है, नीचे आता है क्या क्या प्रेजेंट है यूरिन में, लाइक बाइल पिगमेंट्स, बैक्टीरिया, blood corpuscle, blood cells, any like calcium है या नहीं, phosphate, ये सब दिखता है. So volume, composition of the urine में क्या क्या आता है, वही सब आता है. So volume of the urine is around 1.2 liters to 1.5 5 liters per day. So that is why you have to drink at least 1.5 liters per day. ये फिजियोलॉजिकल है. अभी हमेशा ऐसा रहता है कितना पानी पीना चाहिए, 3 liters, 4 liters, 1 liter, correct ना? So it varies from individual to individual. When the climate is cold, you don't feel thirst. You are not thirsty that time. क्यों नहीं है? क्योंकि जो वाटर का एक्सक्रीशन होता है थ्रू स्वेट नहीं है. You are not sweating. So the amount of the volume of blood उतना ही रहता है. करेक्ट. सो उस टाइम पे ज्यादा थर्स्ट नहीं होती है. बट अभी जो है, जैसे लाइक दिस सीजन अभी तो शुरुआत हो गई है, तो यू आर फीलिंग थर्स्टी नाउअडेज. इवन इफ यू आर ड्रिंकिंग वाटर, योर यूरिन इज कॉन्सेंट्रेटेड. करेक्ट. सो द क्वांटिटी ऑफ intake of water, it also depends on the climate, and the concentration of the urine depends on the climate also, and the quantity of water intake. Color is generally it is pale yellow due to urobilin and urethrin. These are the bile derivatives. Like the color of the stool is due to the derivatives of the bile pigment. So these bile derivatives give color to the urine. Specific gravity is 1.01 to 1.03. Then reaction is generally acidic. क्यों acidic है? Hydrogen ions H+ जो देखा ना हम लोगों ने, that those are secreted. So generally it is acidic. pH is between 5 to 7. 7 is neutral, less than 5 is acidic, less than 7 is acidic, more than 7 is alkaline. So generally the pH is, since this is acidic, pH is between 5 and 7. Odor is ammonia. Ammonia present hota hai, that is secreted. So odor. So generally it contains urea, uric acid, ammonia, creatinine. Inorganic constituents are water, chloride, sulfate, phosphate of sodium, potassium, and calcium. Any questions related to urinary system? We have covered urinary systems. Interesting था? समझ में आया? How urine is formed. This is interesting ना, क्योंकि हम लोग पानी पीते हैं, उसका यूरिन फॉर्म हो जाता है, और ऐसे कंटिन्यू प्रोसेस चालू है. ओके, ठीक है, आगे जाते हैं. सो नेक्स्ट इज स्किन. स्किन इज द लार्जेस्ट ऑर्गन ऑफ द बॉडी. बराबर ना? सब जगह जो बाहर वाला है, जो सो मेन थिंग इज प्रोटेक्शन, देन डिफेंस मैकेनिज्म. और जब भी कट आता है तो क्या होता है, वो नया बन जाता है ना. जो भी कट है वो यूनाइट होता है, अगेन वो एक संध हो जाता है उसका. सो their skin has different thickness at different places, mainly palms and soles. The skin is thick. जो भी palms और sole का अपना जो skin रहता है वो thick रहता है. So thickness varies depending on the body region. Skin is made up of generally of the epidermis and dermis. Hypodermis is generally not considered as a part of skin. Generally the epidermis and dermis. And it is also categorized on the thickness of the epidermis and dermis, that is skin thick है या थिन है, उसमें जो एपिडर्मिस में एक लेयर रहता है दैट इज प्रेजेंट इन थिक स्किन, एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दैट लेयर द स्किन इट इज कॉल्ड एज थिक स्किन. एक लेयर जो रहता है हम लोग आगे देखेंगे. एंड हेयरलेस स्किन कहाँ पे रहता है? पाम्स एंड स्मॉल्स पे कभी भी हेयर नहीं रहता. ओके, ये जो मैंने बोला ना दैट इज स्ट्रैटम लूसिडम की वजह से, दैट इज अ पार्ट ऑफ एपिडर्मिस, दैट स्किन इज थिक. ये देखा ही रहेगा ना, ये पिक्चर हम लोगों ने जैसे रेस्पिरेटरी का हम लोगों ने वो रेड्स और वो देखा रहता है लंग्स, वैसे ये पिक्चर स्किन का भी हम कहीं ना कहीं तो 101% ये देखा रहता है. तो दिस इज द LS लॉन्जिट्यूडिनल सेक्शन. जैसे यहाँ पे कट किया तो लॉन्जिट्यूडिनल लेंथ वाइज कट किया तो स्किन ऐसे दिखेगा. दिस अपर इज एपिडर्मिस, दिस पार्ट इज एपिडर्मिस. बिलो दिस ये जो अपना पिंक लेयर है ना, ये जो ऐसा बॉर्डर आ रहा है ना, ये ऐसा, उसके नीचे ये जो व्हाइटिश क्रीम कलर का जो है, दिस इज डर्मिस. एंड ये जो येलोइश दिख रहा है, these are the fat cells, fat lobules. This is hypodermis. Okay, so basically this is epidermis. This part is epidermis. See here it is written epidermis, dermis, hypodermis. Below hypodermis, this is subcutaneous fascia. It is not part of the skin. Basically, this epidermis and dermis. Okay. The hypodermis contains mainly the fat tissue, adipose tissue. Adipose is fat cells. So it has fat cells as well as blood cells, blood vessels, arteries and veins. Okay. Along with nerves. These arteries and veins are also present in dermis. And nerve, generally artery is represented by red color, vein is by blue color, and nerve is by yellow color. Okay. So these are the nerves. They are present in the dermis. So dermis is the connective tissue. These cells of this dermis, they produce collagen. Collagen is the elastic tissue. And because of this elasticity, when we are young, that time there are no wrinkles. But as age progresses, as you grow older and older, this elastic tissue loses its elasticity. This collagen fiber loses its elasticity. And that is why wrinkles grow. Okay, these collagen fibers are present in the dermis. It contains arteries, veins, and nerves. And because nerves are present, we can feel the touch, then pressure. किसी ने दबाया या कहाँ पे लग रहा है, so you can feel it because the nerves are present over there. Then there is this structure, correct? Hair follicle along with gland, sebaceous gland. Sebaceous gland produces sebum. Sebum has different functions, like sebum is कैसे रहता है? It is oily रहता है ना? जब भी अभी ये सीजन में कैसा रहता है, हम लोगों कैसा है, सब चिपचिपा है, it's oily, face is oily, it is because of the sebum. So sebaceous gland is present in this हेयर फॉलिकल, ये जो स्ट्रक्चर है इसमें, एंड सीबम ऑल्सो हैज एंटीबैक्टीरियल function. That is why skin has one of the function as protection. Antibacterial जो सीबम है उसकी वजह से प्रोटेक्शन हो जाता है. The next is, and it is oily, that is why it gives protection from water also, liquids. Can you see this muscle? This muscle is connected to hair follicle and it is connected to the epidermis. When this muscle contracts, ये जो hair है ना, it stands up. Goosebumps. Okay? जो goosebumps किसी के बोलते हैं, कैसे होते हैं, तभी ये सब जो अपने हेयर होता है स्किन के ऊपर वो सब खड़े रहते हैं. It is because of the contraction of this arrector pili. Arrector pili muscle. Okay, यहाँ पे डायग्राम में देखो, कर्सर, see the cursor, arrector pili muscle. This is hair follicle. This is root of the hair. It is supplied with blood supply. इसीलिए टूट गया तो नया आ जाता है. It grows. तो वैक्सिंग किया तो क्या होता है, जो सुपरफिशियल पार्ट ऑफ द हेयर है वो निकल जाता है, लेकिन थोड़े टाइम के बाद क्या होता है, यू कैन सी द हेयर. ब्लड सप्लाई है इसीलिए वो बढ़ जाता है. एंड एट द सेम टाइम इट हैज नर्व सप्लाई आल्सो. दैट इज व्हाई इफ यू पुल हेयर तो क्या होता है, पेन होता है. So there is blood supply as well as nerve supply. Now another structure which is present in the dermis is sweat gland. This is sweat gland. Produces sweat and main function is production of the sweat and thermoregulation में भी वो काम आता है. Now we will see the upper part of the skin that is called as an epidermis. So stratum basale, there are different layers of this epidermis. They are base layer. That is why it is called as stratum basale. It is not the single layer. मतलब ये कैसा रहता है ना, layer के ऊपर layer रहता है, and in one layer also there are many layers. Okay, and these layers, these cells continuously they ऊपर होते रहते हैं. They move up. So यहाँ से जो चालू होता है ना, from base it moves up. So ये जो cells है, these cells move up. So we are starting with lowest level, that is जो नीचे सबसे नीचे है, that is stratum basale. So this is stratum basale. Above that is stratum spinosum, pink color का जो है. Then comes stratum granulosum, जो green color का यहाँ पे दिखाया है. Then the outermost, जो बाहर सबसे बाहर है, ऊपर है, that is stratum corneum. जो stratum corneum है ना, that is the uppermost. If you rub your hand, तभी you can feel that कुछ तो ऐसे आ रहा है. If your hand is wet or when your leg is wet, that time if you rub your hand, तो ऐसा कुछ तो लगता है हाथ को, some whitish tissue you can feel, that is stratum corneum, that is the dead cell. Those cells are dead. तो वो ऊपर होते ही जाता है and dead cells starts coming up. So ये है epidermis. The lowest is stratum basale, then stratum spinosum, stratum granulosum, stratum lucidum. This layer is present in thick skin. Lucidum is not present all over, it is present only in palms and soles. And stratum corneum, this is the most superficial layer. See, here is the dermis, here is the connective tissue. Correct? Here is the connective tissue. These are the cells. They are the basement layer, base layer. It is stratum basale. This black line is the basement membrane that separates epidermis and dermis. And here, actually in dermis, there is a blood supply. So arteries, veins, and they come up to this layer, stratum basale. And that is why new cells are formed. नया सेल जो है यहाँ पे बनते रहता है. Here is the melanocyte. Melanocyte which is present here in the stratum basale and some part is present in the stratum spinosum also. So यहाँ के जो सेल है इसको blood supply है and that is why they can generate new cells. As they starts moving up, they will lose blood supply. So ये stratum basale से जैसे सेल ऊपर जाते हैं, they form some spine-like structure. These cells they form some spine-like structures, and that is why this layer is called as stratum spinosum. Okay. And in between stratum spinosum, there are some dendritic cells. These are immunological cells. And these cells help in protection or they fight against microbes, pathogens. So they will stop entry of the pathogens in the body. So these are the cells and there are these are the immunological cells. As these cells move upward, they lose blood supply. Okay. Because there is no blood supply, these cells starts flattening up. They become dead. They start becoming dead. And the cell organelles, cell में cell organelles रहते हैं ना, correct ना? Cell, every cell has cell organelles. माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया और जैसे ये जो रहता है, blood supply ही नहीं है. And that is why these cell organelles starts degenerating. And because of that, you can see the granules. And one more part, these are the keratinite cells. These cells are keratinite cells. Okay, so here these cells as they start dying, granules उनके granules बन जाते हैं. And then they move upward. ये जो layer है stratum lucidum, it is present only in thick skin. This is absent in thin skin. and this is the uppermost layer is stratum corneum. Now we'll just read this. Above basement membrane are the cuboidal epithelium called as stratum basale or stratum germinativum, forming new, germinate, new, which constantly produce keratinocytes. Stratum basale contains melanocytes and Merkel cells. These are the sensory function for light cells. Dermis has nerve supply, and they come up to this last one, basal, stratum basale. As stratum basale divides and forms new layer on the top called stratum spinosum, they contain irregular polyhedral cells with cytoplasmic processes called spine, hence named the spinosum. They form spine-like structures. You remember this, they form the spine-like structures and hence the name. It has immunological cells, so play a role in, important role in protection, immunology. Stratum spinosum moves up further to form another layer called stratum granulosum. Cells begins to die, flatten, and degeneration of the cell organs. It contains keratohyalin granule. So that is why it is called as stratum granulosum. Above this is the stratum lucidum, only found in palms and soles. Topmost layer is stratum corneum, made up of keratin bed keratinocytes. They shed off. These cells shed off. All right. Dermis, it is a connective tissue. Many cells called fibroblasts produce and secrete extracellular matrix collagen. Dermis also has mast cells, important role in allergy and inflammation. Nerve fibers, sensory nerve fibers, arteries at the base of the dermis goes up to the base of the epidermis, turns into capillaries and then into veins. Here it has also, dermis contains hair follicle, sweat glands. Pilosebaceous unit. We have seen this pilosebaceous unit made up of hair follicle, muscle connecting to the base of the erectile pilar muscle, contraction shoots up the hair up, goosebump in cold weather. Sebaceous gland, this unit also has sebaceous gland, produces sebum, it lubricates hair. Hair root has blood supply, sweat gland. It also has sweat gland, where not everywhere, but sweat gland along with the hair only in axilla and genitalia, and that is hormone driven. That is why it is functional after puberty. इसीलिए क्या होता है, you sweat in axilla, correct ना? Till puberty you don't sweat, मतलब इतना sweat नहीं आता है axilla में, but after puberty, as secondary sexual organs develop, you start sweating a lot in axilla. Because these sweat glands, they are called as apocrine sweat glands. They start functioning after puberty and they produce sweat. समझ में आया क्यों ऐसा होता है? And other sweat glands, they are called eccrine sweat glands. They are found all over body and opens directly onto the surface of the skin. इसीलिए क्या होता है, फेस पे, बैक, सब जगह स्वेटिंग होता है एंड इट प्लेज इंपॉर्टेंट रोल इन थर्मोरेगुलेशन. Hypodermis, basically it has fat tissue, contains adipose lobules, sensory neurons and blood cells. Functions of the skin: it acts as a barrier, protection from microbes, water, chemicals, UV light, mechanical injury. मतलब जो भी इंजुरी है हम लोग स्किन तक ही होता है, आगे जाने के लिए प्रिवेंट हो जाते हैं. वुंड हीलिंग, करेक्ट. Then it plays important role in defense mechanism, vitamin D synthesis in presence of sunlight. D is synthesis, vitamin D is synthesis, sensation of pressure, light pressure, deep pressure, pain and temperature because of the supply of nerve. Thermoregulation by sweat gland and blood vessels in the skin. During hot weather, blood vessels which are present in the skin are dilated. And during cold weather, they are contracted. Thus, they help in thermoregulation. Sebaceous gland secretes sebum which lubricates skin. Sweat gland plays important role in water and electrolyte homeostasis. Excretion of unwanted substances through sweat. Thermoregulation. How the temperature of the body is maintained. कैसे मेंटेन होता है? एक तो अपर मतलब CNS में थर्मो रेगुलेटरी सेंटर होता है, करेक्ट. एंड ऑल्सो इट इज रेगुलेटेड थ्रू स्किन. Normal temperature of the body is 37 degrees Celsius or 97.6 degree Fahrenheit. Thermogenesis. Genesis means production. So heat is produced. When heat is produced, कभी-कभी when you are exercising, तभी लगता है heat is produced. So it's a physiological thing. So it is during exercise, after eating. खाने के बाद भी ऐसा गर्मी ज्यादा होती है, नोटिस किया है कभी? नहीं किया है तो you notice, please notice. After eating and during shivering. Shivering is body's mechanism through which heat is generated, and non-shivering by release of epinephrine. These are through the hormones. So through hormones also heat is generated. And thermolysis. Lysis is breaking down. Heat is, when the heat is ज़्यादा है, that time कम होनी चाहिए ना. In order to maintain the temperature of the body, thermolysis is, this mechanism comes into action. So thermolysis is through conduction. Conduction मतलब touch है जहां भी वहां से हो जाता है. That is by direct contact. If you are sitting or lying on the cold ground, गर्मी में क्या होता है, ऐसा लगता है कि चलो ठंडे ग्राउंड पे बैठे, जमीन पे बैठे या लॉन में जाके बैठे, ऐसे ठंडे जहां पे ठंडा है वहां पे बैठे. थ्रू दैट यू फील हाँ थोड़ा ठंड, हाँ अभी टेम्परेचर ओके है. दैट इज बिकॉज थर्मोलाइसिस इज डन थ्रू कंडक्शन. कन्वेक्शन. कन्वेक्शन कैसे रहता है? कन्वेक्शन रहता है ना अपने माइक्रोवेव में, दैट इज, रहता है ना, एक फ्लो रहता है, एयर का फ्लो बन जाता है, कन्वेक्शन, दैट इज लॉस ऑफ हीट बाय एयर मूविंग अक्रॉस द स्किन सरफेस। डायरेक्ट टच नहीं है, फिर भी जो एयर जो है वो आसपास है और वहां पे एक फ्लो बन जाता है, एंड दैट इज थ्रू दैट फ्लो यू लूज हीट। रेडिएशन, दिस इज डायरेक्ट। इवोपरेशन, इवोपरेशन कैसे होता है? वाटर का इवोपरेशन है, मालूम है ना, जैसे वाटर बॉईल होने लगता है, वाटर दैट इज लिक्विड फॉर्म टर्न्स इनटू gaseous form, water to liquid to gaseous form, that is called as evaporation. तो लिक्विड जो वाटर है, बिकॉज ऑफ हीट, यहाँ पे क्या होता है, स्वेट जो है वो वेपर में हो जाता है, क्योंकि स्वेट में क्या रहता है, वाटर रहता ही है। वाटर इज प्रेजेंट इन स्वेट and that water gets converted to vapor. And another is through exhalation. Respiration में exhalation जो भी है, तो exhale air में क्या क्या रहता है, कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड तो रहता ही है, वाटर भी रहता है। Water is also present in exhale air. So as water is present, water is converted to vapor. So thermoregulation कैसे होता है? So whenever there is increase in temperature, क्या होता है? Stimulation of the thermoregulatory center in the hypothalamus. You are feeling hot. So when you are feeling hot, that time thermoregulatory center in CNS, in your brain, is stimulated. Through that, it stimulates blood vessels, causing vasodilatation, and more sweat or sweating is, more sweat is produced. Sweat is produced. Thus, loss of heat, also loss of heat through lungs by evaporation and respiration by increase in respiratory rate. जो हम लोगों ने अभी देखा ना, कैसे होता है, एक्सेल्ड एयर में वाटर रहता है, एंड थ्रू दैट, थ्रू इवोपरेशन is done, is taking place through exhaled air. When there is decrease in temperature, again there is stimulation of the thermoregulatory center which is present in hypothalamus. It causes vasoconstriction. Vasoconstriction होता है तो क्या होता है, ब्लड सप्लाई स्किन को कम होता है, कम होता है तो इवोपरेशन या स्वेट, फॉर्मेशन ऑफ द स्वेट जो है वो कम होता है. So vasoconstriction. And one more mechanism is shivering. Because of shivering, thermogenesis is done because by muscle contraction to produce heat. And also at the same time, when there is shivering, muscle contracts and it produces heat. And non-shivering is through hormone. मतलब जैसे ही ठंडी लग रही है, you are feeling cold, that time vasoconstriction होता है, you feel shivering, you are shivering is body का mechanism जो है, you start shivering, and another non-shivering mechanism is through hormone. Loss of heat through lungs by evaporation and respiration by decreased respiratory rate. So तभी क्या होता है, respiratory rate भी कम होता है. And thus the body temperature is maintained. Any questions?
So मैम does it mean जिसको शिवरिंग कम होती है उनके पास वो हार्मोन ज्यादा होता है and vice versa?
You cannot say that. शिवरिंग जिनको कम होती है तो मतलब कई लोगों का इट्स इंडिविजुअल टू इंडिविजुअल. सी आपको कितना पानी लगता है? देयर आर सम फैमिली मेंबर्स वो बहुत ज्यादा पानी पीते हैं. देयर आर सम कि वो उनको बोलना पड़ता है पानी पी लो प्लीज ड्रिंक द वाटर यू हैव मतलब इट इज लाइक दैट. व्हाट यू वांट बॉडी टेम्परेचर शुड बी मेंटेन. तो होम्योस्टेसिस अचीव करना इज द एम. और मतलब इट इज नॉट ओनली थ्रू शिवरिंग मैकेनिज्म थर्मोरेगुलेशन टेक्स प्लेस. जैसे हम लोगों ने देखा ना कि बाकी के भी है. देयर आर अदर थिंग्स आल्सो थ्रू हार्मोन्स आल्सो थ्रू लंग्स आल्सो. वाजो कंस्ट्रिक्शन है, स्वेट है. तो शिवरिंग इज वन ऑफ देम.
Ma'am, how does non-shivering work to generate heat in the body?
It's hormone based. I will not go into detail because it's already fourth cycle. You just remember, and that is not required. You just remember that is through hormone. Like epinephrine is a hormone. So समझ में आया? Understood? Good? Well? Should we stop? One second. Okay, we will stop. One second. Close your eyes. We'll chant Shanti Mantra. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Slowly open your eyes. Bye bye. See you soon on Thursday. Bye.